She's it's okay if you run a picture.
Well said. This is Margaret, also took classes. Oh, I like it. She's maintaining. Are you doing computer stuff?
Around the room, honey.
So, Sheila was an amazing, I like to use the term force of nature, Sheila, because you knew when you were around her. We met online. I got divorced and was looking around, talking to some people, and I met this one lady online. And we emailed and emailed and emailed for about a month before we ever met. And later on, I found out, I'm asking her, why'd you choose me? And she said, well, you use punctuation. So I knew I had to pay attention. That was my end right there. So, I didn't do text keys with my thumbs. So, and what I didn't realize was everything she really brought to the table. What I didn't realize was she brought an integrity that I lacked. And she brought out in me what I had that I didn't know I had. So bear with me. And I would not be a teacher, I would not be a respected person, none of these things that would work for her. If she brought it up, it's like I was a diamond in the rough, and she polished me up. So, and she taught me how to enjoy life. And as a result, I'm a very happy person as I cry. But it's tears of joy. Sheila was a consummate researcher. She researched everything. She researched the cat. She researched photography. She researched teaching, kind of incessantly. I would take about 4 or 5 hours on Sunday to prepare for my week. And she would be just all day. We get home working, preparing for school, reworking lessons, just constantly going over stuff. And it's just, I don't have that in me to do that. And she does and did. She researched cooking, she researched writing, she researched her art. It was really crazy. And, I didn't know that there was that much stuff to be researched. Shampoo, it's just crazy. Her love of photography, which everything you see behind me is things that are pictures that she took. She takes pictures, people take pictures. I love it. This is all through her eye. So everything you're seeing here is primarily Spain and Germany, where we had went. a few years back, and it's all through her eye, except for a handful of shots where she's in them that I like when I do in her ones that I can. But I really love the idea that we're looking through her eye. And what I brought to her life, a million things, but I brought my knowledge of history and music. And so I constantly talk about history. I constantly talk about history. I talk about the Romans, I talk about the Greeks, I talk about the Assassins, I talk about everybody. And the Mayans, oh gosh, we've got to go to Mexico a few times. I'm sure all the Mayan stuff, you know, all that. But anyway, learning about all that stuff, I didn't realize that I was teaching her about all this stuff too. And what I want to read here is something from her memoir that I found kind of just in some notes that she had taken, and it's called, I titled it, what she titled it was Round Robin Introduction, November 29th, 2020. And once the pandemic hit and she couldn't work anymore, she started taking online courses and taking art classes and taking writing classes. And so one of the many things she would do, and the beauty of the online courses is that she'd be with people from all over the world in her class, not just the local people. And so she would do this one thing where people would write for 5 minutes and then they would stop and share the writing and then they'd go, you know, this little round robin kind of thing. And so this is called Let Me Introduce Myself, Round Robin Introduction, November 29th, 2020 by Sheila. And this, so it starts off, poem, memoir, lyric and mosaic essay, documentary, history, travel, Spain, England, Scotland, Mexico, Germany, Joshua Tree, the Orange Rock Desert, High Mountain Lakes, foggy Oregon mornings, lightning bugs in Ohio, and alligators in Florida. Tulip, black-eyed Susan, zinnia, hydrangea, and luca, jade, and golden ginkgo leaves, raspberry, cherry, watermelon, mango, apple, cinnamon, clove, nutmeg, pumpkin pie, kayak, camp on pumice stone or under fire, hike, board game, fire, tent, coffee, moon, oh why, only one moon, the sky, clouds, gray, pink, red, lavender, orange, watercolor, museum, art, artist, book, film noir, Indian food, Thai, Vietnamese, chard, garlic, onions, cornbread, collard greens, strawberry rhubarb, djembe and guitar, Avia, and our beloved black cat, and David, my love. I have a black cat named Avia, which means great in Arabic. I did not name her, but she is indeed great because she hides and tags me and gallops. Yes, she sounds like a horse, except when she jumps off the hearth and sounds like a teenage skateboarder ready for more. I love the moon and think it's tragic. There's only one way to look at. Oh, I'm sorry. I love the moon and think it's tragic. There is only one to look at. I like rain and sun and early mornings and dusk and sunsets, but do not like wind because it is exhausting. I paint with watercolors and want to create a book with my words and my paintings before I leave the world. I'm in a hurry. I may not have much time. I love museums of history, museums of art, and I've seen the Rosetta Stone. And so Louis Chessman and then Eugene Oregon and Albert Einstein's chalk formula on the blackboard of your Oxford. Yes, I am fortunate, but I also make things happen. I'm a teacher and always a student. I bet there was no other introduction like that at this time class. And then I also want to pick up some of my favorite pieces of poetry, which it's so hard because there's so much that I love in their stuff. But I think I want to start with this one called I Can't Write a Poem. And this one is featured in the little book we put together for her. I Can't Write a Poem by Sheila Ghelfi. I can't write a poem. Are you kidding me? What if the similes compare things that are too similar? A cat and his tongue, for example. My emotional state belies it. My cherries won't squish. I can't write a poem, nor can I write anything at all. It might ignite. I'm wearing polyester. Have you ever seen synthetic fibers melted onto skin? On top of it all, my shirt is plaid, black and white. Can you imagine the race relation issues with that? I wouldn't fit in with either color. Black would say, we don't want her, she's flawed, she can't write. And white would say, no, us either, she ain't white, she's shoring, she can't write. I can't write a poem, not today. Today is sunny, and even though the forecast says no rain, they've been wrong before. Poems are only written on rainy days, when there's nothing else to do. Can't kayak on a rainy day, so you might as well write a stupid poem. But today it's sunny. I won't write a poem today. It would take tremendous oomph and concentration, a brain strain, a constipation. I won't write a poem today, no sir, no ma'am. I'll be polite, I'll put you into your car. I'll clean the cat litter box. I'll wash clothes, I'll sweep the floor, I'll mow lawn. I'll mash potatoes. I'll drink mushroom tea and hallucinate under a tree. But there won't be any poem coming out of my head, or hands, or arse. And then this little guy here, called Sometimes You Will Want to Go Underwater. This is a little bit of a term by Sheila Ghelfi. Sometimes you will want to go underwater, sometimes you will not. You will not when paddling a kayak. The wind is calm, no more than 5 miles per hour. Fish nibble at the surface of the water or jump just above it. The water is cold, of course. It lies in a high mountain lake, a natural one, not one of those faux shore reservoirs that cover the land of the town that had to be torn down and moved up highway after the dam was built. You want to go underwater in a swimming pool. The tiles are peacock blue. The water is warm, a mix of saline and body buoyant. The air outside is damp and cold like we're in winter. You will not want to go underwater if you lose your job. Nighttime brings respite because bill collectors do not call after 9 p.m. After taking the second letter to the door, the landlord with short arms and pudgy fingers marches onto duties elsewhere, a plumbing fix, for example. The next time you go underwater will be for love. It's emotional fancy dancing. Dates to a wing concert, a Thai restaurant, a daring trip to the Yucatan. After years, you will rise to the surface. Your skin is wrinkled, your eyes sting, you are out of breath. More of the classic poetry kind of thing. And the last thing I want to read is this little bit here, called "The Moon Seemed to Say Something" by Sheila Ghelfi. And before I read too, we would be at home and we have some windows in our house that the rising moon always is on. And time again, Dave, come here, check this out. I'm running from wherever I'm at, and it's the moon. And it's the same moon, and I've seen it night after night. And it's red, or it's orange, or it's white. It's full, it's a sliver. It's a Cheshire moon, we call it. And so she had a fascination with it that went beyond me. I love the moon, but I'm a scientist, and I just keep thinking about lava flows. Planets colliding and stuff. The moon seemed to say something. Last night, the moon seemed to say something. You'll get home safe. I'm guiding your way. I have always been guiding. I always have been and always will. You are part of me and I am part of you. I will keep coming up big and full, sometimes burnt sienna, sometimes pink, sometimes golden yellow, sometimes ecru. Long after you've gone. I did it long before you arrived. I know this is difficult for you to imagine. Can you accept it as so? Why do you linger on death? Last time the moon seemed to say something. There's beauty and magic all around. Why do you need fireworks? I'm more majestic than those, and less timely. I can do this again tomorrow and next month. Last night the moon seemed to say something. Craters make me who I am. You see the tall mountain chains on my surface? I'm always a paradox, light and dark, smooth and hole-popped, depending on naked eyes or telescopic lens. Not everyone notices me. Not like everyone notices you, just like not everyone notices you, but that doesn't make either of us less stunning. Those boys walking down dingy school hallways laughing, their crooked smiles, their off-center eyes, their too long noses, their veiled insecurities, their misunderstandings about people and happiness and what it means to be happy and cool. Last night the moon seemed to say something. You've grown and you're changing. And some people around you are too, although mostly people stay the same. Don't change very much. Last night the moon said, you have nothing to fear, nothing to be afraid of. Even death is nothing to be afraid of, although the moon has not experienced hospitals of pain and extreme loneliness and going without water for days on end. Well, it has, but doesn't need water to resist apparently. The moon said last night, all is clear up here, even when it's cloudy and rainy and stormy down there. It's always clear. Last night the moon seemed to say something, all the wars, all the hurt feelings, all the oh my God, all the am I important enough? Am I okay? Do they need me enough? Do I matter? Will I get fired because I only work normal hours and do not do extracurricular stuff? Hey, I'm about to volunteer with the college guild and I'm actually so excited. I'll be able to start a club at school that incorporates volunteer teams, or will I be able to start a club at school that incorporates volunteer teams? Wouldn't that be cool? Hey, no one else is doing it. There's the timer. I've written for 15 minutes. The timer keeps going off, so I guess I need to shut it off. So Sheila was a really deep, interesting person. And there's plenty of, you want to say something about Sheila and you don't know what to say and you feel tongue-tied, grab one of these and read it to us. I think that would be what she'd want, first of all. Because she wrote this. So I think that'd be really cool. And she was my best friend. Thank you. And now it's time for friends to come and do stuff. And so Chris, you want to lead us on this?
My name is Chris. And just to give you some context, because I know we all know Sheila from different ways and places, and I know Sheila from teaching. When she got hired at South Lane, I got hired at the same time. And we went to a new teacher's kind of like week-long training. Beverly was there, we carpooled. So, we carpooled, we met, and we would just stand on the corner by Beverly's house and talk when we got out of the car. Just talk and talk and talk. And so we had this immediate connection. And I'm going to start by reading a poem. It is called, In Springtime, Let Us Pray. On the seventh day, the hyacinths kneeled in their beds. All week long, they'd seemed jazzy and smart, pointing their spikes toward the sky. But all it took was a breathy whisper, a seductive rain of promises to convince them to kiss the dirt, as if they'd heard the voice say unto them, all these things I will give you if you fall down and worship me. I chose that poem. It's really almost a psalm. But I chose it because it really describes like the wholeness or the entirety of a lifetime. At times reaching for the sun, bold and jazzy, and finally surrendering with gratitude and acceptance to the earth. I also thought it was really interesting because Sheila is not a religious person. So I was really drawn to the contradiction of the religious language in it. But in the end, I think religion is just a metaphor, and metaphor is just poetry. On the seventh day, the end of creation, worship, to show reverence. Prayer, a surrender or acceptance. The rain seduces, like the serpent seducing Eve to accept her own mortality, to claim her humanity. Ocean Balm writes, how sweet that rain, that something that lives only to fall can be nothing but sweet. And yes, we all live only to fall. And that is sweet. But I also want to say a bit about how Sheila lived. Sheila lived with such playful courage. Like the hyacinth, jazzy spikes towards the sky. Sheila was the funniest person I know. She was an actress. She had taken acting classes, but she was just a natural actress, which I think made her a great teacher, too, and just an entertaining person to be around. But she would play characters, and she would commit. I mean, she would commit beyond one or two laughs. past the point of discomfort into like just the point of hilarity. She would just go and go and go with these characters she created. And no one made me laugh more than Sheila did. And I think she herself embodied contradiction because I see her as so brave. When I, very early on in meeting her, we went on a trip, Beverly and her daughter came as well to the Redwoods. And we drove down a really precarious, scary road, one lane, gravel, deep drop. And Sheila had to close her eyes, you know, and I could tell she was scared. But it was years later that she admitted to me how terrified she was on that drive. And that in fact, she had to get drunk to be able to drive on the bridge in Newport from one side to the other. Which like really gave me like context, like, man, I really just like shoved her out of her comfort zone on that early trip. She stepped carefully. She forced me to slow down when we took walks. She usually had a camera with her too, which forced me to slow down. But her creative courage wasn't just in her paintings and her writing. I think her creative courage is what guided her through the process of death. And then she left all of this work to help guide us through our grief and remind us how to live. I'm going to quote Ocean Vuong again. He just wrote the most beautiful poetry on grief. It was like really timely. But he wrote, "It is no accident that the comma resembles a fetus, that curve of continuation. We were all once inside our mothers, saying with our entire curved, silent selves, more, more, more. And so what? So what if all I ever made of my life was more of it?" It's a brave thing to make more of your life. Even in the face of death, Sheila created more. I'm going to read one more poem. Caves will hold our longing. Tongues won't be needed next century, only paintbrushes and rock, earth, bone. 10,000 years, the sagebrush sandals were buried in ash in Burns, Oregon. Sky will be the only one to speak the desert's pitch. Mala mala frazaga, the tongue strikes, the mouth's keyboard, morning, moonlight. Vowels are seeds that grow ridicule. It's a warm wax of bluster to say this. I love one man of hardly any words, and I can recall all the others just as fatal. One wrapped his liver in a red mechanic's rag, gave it to me for Earth Day. Rosie, the car read, the poet's gotta have guts. And don't you think I will remember that?
Say thank you, Chris. And I had pulled some pieces out that Carla, Melissa, and Kim wanted to read, so I have those here. I can read those. But I wanted to tell a little story that Sheila and I fondly recall. Who hides? When we first moved in together, we were in a little 550 square foot condominium in downtown Eugene here. And I came home from work, and she's not there. I go to the kitchen, I get some food, I sit down and watch TV. Maybe about a half hour goes by, I go into the bedroom, I come back out of the bedroom, go back to the bedroom again, and all of a sudden, I'm like, did I hear something? And I go, and I walk around the side of the bed, and she goes, ha! You were saying about committal. She committed about 45 minutes to hiding behind the bed. It surprised me when I got home. So I freak out, I did that for so long. I was in there watching TV. I went to the bathroom. So it's like, well, I'm hiding. Who hides? We're 42 years old. Apparently Sheila hides. So anyhow, so I do have those pieces up here if anybody else wants to read too. So I invite anybody to come up and read if they'd like, or say whatever they want, or whatever.
Hi, my name's Melissa, and I met Sheila. We were in a writing group together. Laura's here, and Leah's here as well. This was a serious writing group. We had bylaws. I was the last to join. I think we met every 3 weeks for 4 years. Maybe we took a month off in the summer. But it was just a wonderful, wonderful thing to be a part of. And I just want to be a role model for other people who want to come up and read poems, because I can't. I just want to read the poems. I just cry. I can't listen. So I'm your role model. I'll just read it. You can come up and read poems. This one doesn't have a title. Sheila just called it a dream poem for right now with no title yet. The window is down. A movement. A floating on your left. Oh my gosh, I'm starting on the wrong page. I think she'd be okay. Dream poem. You're only taking a nighttime drive to get out for a while. Even the Mona Lisa wants to leave the Louvre on Tuesday nights in winter. You drive past a house where neighbors sit on the porch to eat dinner, and you know they are talking about regret. One woman there to bear witness for the other. You're jealous of the brie and the bread. Jealous of the yellow candlelight that makes them look like a Vermeer painting. You're not jealous of the ache, but the sedatives. No traffic on the dark road. Only slabs of fog cemented to one another. You can't see painted lines, not even the edges of the hood. If you drive off the road, you'll hit a power pole. You could drive off the road, hit the power pole. How do you turn around in untethered space? The window is down, a movement, a floating on your left. The coyote's mouth clamps down on your arm. Lurch forward but feel no pain. Coyote jaw fastens so flawlessly to your forearm that your blood is contained. Not seeing blood, not losing blood, leads to resolve. Steer with your knee. Move your right hand to wrap the thumb and forefinger around the coyote's muzzle. Feel his coarse fur. Feel the warmth of his body. Say, no, you're not in charge here. I am. Squeeze hard around the muzzle to deepen the point. Who's got pluck now, you say. Coyote gets the message. Lets go, sinks into the murk, gone. A cafe arrives like it ambled you out of the fog, not the other way around. Two people sit at the table on the sidewalk. A young farmer wearing bog boots, and her husband knitting mittens. Tell them a story about darkness and fog. How the road was a space filled with nothing you could see, and it was hungry. Don't mention the coyote. The jacket covers your arm. You know that coyote from somewhere. He'll be back. No title yet? She will go. So I have one more I wanted to share, and when I came in, I realized it was actually on the program, and I absolutely love this poem. And there's a line Sheila wrote, I won't say the line here, but Sheila wrote another poem with the same title of this line towards the end of the poem that just kind of, we want to be gotten good today. So this is called, in the poem I want to write, I am dancing on a bluff. The bluff overlooks a green gorge. The sky beyond the gorge is taffy colored, red and pink and purple. White windmills stand and turn ho-hum upon the hills. I am dancing and there is a band. There is a band with a saxophone, a trumpet, and congas. This is not a sad town. It's very free. And this is actually, Sheila read me this poem. I was like, I love that. And I remember her reading it, and I was just, sorry. There is a band with a saxophone, a trumpet, and congas. The congas become djembes, and the djembes become the shoes of a young man in steampunk getup. He walks on stilts, and I am dancing. He wears a velvet vest and dons a tall hat with leather and brass studs. His gold pants fit snugly and flare at the bottom. I pick up the shoe drum and begin to whack with my palm. Someone puts the drum strap or shoelace over my shoulder. It's the saxophone player. He wears etched silver rings on all his fingers and gold caps on his front feet.
Speak up.
I am dancing again. I do not want to die on a sunny day with my cracked edges illuminated. I do not want it to be bright outside. I'm dancing in twilight. Someone is nursing a fire on the floor. Sheila.
It's good. It's really hard. My name's Destiny Durst. I was one of Ghelfi's students. I met David first through middle school, and then when I got to freshman year, I think I only had Ghelfi for like 1 year, and I loved her so much. I would go to lunch and hang out with her, and we also did a lot of things after high school as well. I wish I could say that I had more memories with her. But this is what I have to say. Sheila Ghelfi had a beautiful soul. She was smart, spunky, fun, brave, and such a loving person. Sheila helped a lot of teens grow up and helped inspire them to become who they are. I'm proud to say that I was one of those students. Sheila and I hung out a lot when I was in school, and I would go to her class during lunch or after school, and we would talk about lots of things, like who's my crush right then and there, what future was gonna look like. I was in theater as well, so we would talk a lot about theater. My favorite thing was showing her music. We listened to whatever was popular, or also listened to a lot of oldies. And I introduced her to the Broadway musical Hamilton, which a lot of the songs had curse words in it, so she was cool enough to let it slide just during lunch. Sheila loved the arts, which in my opinion means she had a beautiful look on life. I did choose a poem that I wanted to read that is a good reminder of her. It's called Remember Me. Remember me when I am gone away, gone far away into the silent land. when you can no more hold my hand, nor I have turned to go yet turning stay. Remember me when no more day to day you tell me of our future that you plan. Only remember me, you understand. It will be late to console than to pray, yet if you should forget me for a while and afterwards remember, do not grieve, for if the darkness and corruption leave, they speak of the thoughts and that once had better by far you should go forget and smile, then you should remember and be sad. That was from Christina Rossetti. That's all I had to say. I'm really glad that I got to meet the Ghelfis and be a part of their life.
Are touching, sweet, and sentimental, and I'm glad to be here with everybody. Share those things. It's a way of taking part of Sheila and keeping it in your heart. So, hi, my name is Rachel, and I guess I knew Sheila and David, and through their travels, I enjoyed Spain. I appreciated the pictures that they brought. I stayed with their pet Mozzie, the Mozzie. I enjoyed their backyard while they were gone. And it's an interesting way to get to know somebody, because I could see the stacks of books that they read and their art in their home. And I knew them to be beautiful, loving people. I saw the cards that their students had left for them, and I knew that these were dedicated people, for their teaching, and they were impacting people's lives. You could just see it. And, for me, I had the biggest surprise that I might have had any bit of impact on their lives, especially Sheila. But it was a pleasant surprise for me to know that. I thought might be more like a closing thought, I suppose, and not a review or anything, but I just wanted to say that when artists or writers or anyone, baking or whatever, are inspired, their inspirations are manifest when you make something, and they, it is in their spirit that goes out into the things that they're made, and then as we can observe what they've made or written, that is the thing that we take with us. I have written something for Sheila, actually for everybody. It's not for Sheila. It's for us. A way of thinking about her and remembering her. A couple weeks ago, I took a trip out to Bend, and I got a chance to drive a new road through the Willamette National Forest, and I was passing beautiful lakes and camping grounds that reminded me of all the places that David and Sheila got to go to with their kayaks and get their camping. And I really felt as I was taking that trip that when I remember Sheila, I know it's going to be in the forest, because I really felt that spirit. And so, if as I'm reading this, just close your eyes and imagine those deep forests and lakes, because I think that's where her spirit is. Reflecting sky, catching sun, moved by wind and spirit. She looked down and saw herself, a beautiful heron, keen eyes, strong wings, a new day, a new world, time to soar.
Most everything I've written, I'm not trying to say anything. I'll take my mask off. So many beautiful things that comes out about Sheila and about who she is. And I've captured her in so many ways. I appreciate hearing all of you. I had the idea of starting out with something, the idea we've all heard it. You don't remember necessarily as time goes on what you've said and done, but you remember how it made you feel. And that's the thing for me about Sheila, her, all of these great things that we know about her. And for me, it was like how vulnerable she could be and how authentic right there. And then how challenging she could be of your thinking, and yet still honoring your intelligence and your thought, all at the same time. Just something unique to me in that wholeness. And I just wanted to share that. And I wanted to share a little piece that is a part of one of her memoirs that she felt it encapsulated who she is and how she thought. Even though there's so much more that can do that. But this writing said, words get into my head. They change me. They change us. Like blowing sand that scratches a retina. Like water that breaks down mountains. Like the Pacific winds that shake the coastal plains. Words appear small, harmlessly incremental, snail trails in the mind. And pretty soon, they've devoured the